All right. We are live. Live, live, live. Um, we are here today to talk a little bit of boxing. Going to be joined by my man, BFTB. Those acronyms are tough for me. We're going to talk a little Spence versus Crawford. Um, Mainly talk Spence versus Crawford. Also get into a little other boxing stuff. We're going to see what's up. Uh, there's a fight. What fight's tonight? There's a fight tonight. God, I'm blanking out. Who just weighed in? Oh, Savannah Marshall tonight is fighting um, Franchon Cruz. Pretty big fight in women's boxing. Um, I guess there's no other real big fights to really look forward to until we get the big one on July 29th. Guys, am I missing something? Is there any other fight? What fight are you guys looking forward to besides Spence Crawford? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what you guys, because Spence and Crawford is like dominating boxing. Like, I don't think anybody if I could take a real powerful um, Ambien and then just sleep until July 29th and wake up to watch it, that would make me happy. Uh, I don't know what other fights there are. Big fights that we're all looking forward to watching. But Spence versus Crawford is the big one, which we're going to talk about. I'm waiting on my guest, uh, my man BFTB, New York's own BFTB. It's my man, good guy. I appreciate all you guys watching too. By the way, I'm putting up a lot of polls, a lot of boxing polls, and I'll tell you, man, my followers are some of the smartest like boxing aficionados that I've seen, because the comments for the most part are smart, are on point, are insightful. It shows that I have a bunch of followers who you guys really know the sport, and that's dope. There's my man Fulton versus Inoue. Yeah, man, Fulton versus Inoue is a big one. That's a good point. Let me get BTFE in. There he is. I can't hear you though. You there? Nope. I guess he's fixing his Yeah, man, Fulton versus Inoue is gonna be a good one. I'm excited about that one. I don't know who to pick because
There we go.
Fulton was there we go,
Oh,
but I don't see you now. Now your video's out. There we go.
what's up
Let
with
me
you?
let me see. There we go. We did it. My man. How you doing?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's summertime in New York right now. Finally, we got that Canadian forest fire smoke. It's back. You
It's
heard about
back?
that? It's back. It's back.
Man, I
It's
haven't been to
back.
Jersey. I haven't been to Jersey in a few months, so I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it made it all the way down. I don't know if it's made it all the way down there.
I don't
That's
know if
crazy.
it Yeah, man. I don't know if it did either, but either way, you're in what? You're not in Texas. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Texas right now,
Texas.
man. I'm like next to the sun.
Damn. You like Texas? You like going from Jersey to Texas?
Uh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm used to it now. I've done it like 70 times already, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you have the sun, then you have Texas, then you have Earth. So it's like 100+ degree. Hold on, what is it right now? 100. It's 100
Woo.
right now.
What? No, no,
Yeah,
thank you. No, thank you.
yeah, man.
Damn.
So you said that stuff came back though.
Which
The
stuff?
smoke came back.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. That for those of you watching who don't know, there was forest fires in Canada, and somehow, like, bad forest fires, and somehow the winds blew it all the way over, and now it's back in New York, and it was really bad. Like, was like a month ago. Uh,
yeah,
and it's here today. It's not as bad, not nearly as bad. Like a month ago, literally, it smelled like there was somebody like a fireplace was going on like right in front of your nose. It was
It was
bad.
like orange, wasn't it?
It was orange, yeah. It was orange outside. It was kind of creepy. So today it's there, but it's nothing crazy. But I guess after COVID, when shit like this happens, people get a little little nervous because you never know. Um,
Yeah.
so
Man,
yeah, man.
I share this, bro. I should have. I didn't even get a chance to share this on my community page.
Oh,
Damn it.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't get it. You know what? I'm gonna leave out and I'm gonna come right back. I'm
All
gonna
right,
share this right.
all right.
I'll be
Do it.
right back.
All right, I'll be here. Edgar, what is up, my man? Edgar, where you at? You in Jersey? Talk to me. Um, Wife Winner, what's up? Anybody else in there while we're waiting for BF to come back? Let me know. We're about to talk Spence Crawford. What do you guys think? I mean, I know we're kind of beating it down, the topic, beating the shit out of it, but you're in Jersey. What part of Jersey, Edgar? Are you like Newark, close to me? What's up, OG, Mr. Mont? Um, Bridgeport. Oh shit. Okay, you're not that far. You're not that far. I spend time in Danbury a lot. So I'm up in there. Spence is gonna get him, in my opinion. Well, well, you might be right. You might be right. Spence might get him. He might. But that's what we're here to talk about. That's what you're back.
Yeah, man. I had to share it right quick.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Let me compliment you. You're doing your thing. You have a lot of engagement. You got a loyal group of people who follow what you do. And it's good shit.
It's so crazy, bro. I never really cared, man.
No?
Really cared, bro. Like, if they rock with me, they rock with me. If they don't, they don't. I never really cared. But at this particular moment,
Say it
right?
again, my bad.
No, you good. I said I care at this particular moment. I didn't care before. I was just talking boxing, bro. But now it's just like, man, like you're right. I do have a loyal fan base that rocks with me and supports me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird feeling at times, but it just came with natural shit, man. Like you fighting, bro. It was just natural. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it was. Well, let me ask you this. Now, when you go to fights, do you get recognized?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Hell yeah, all the time.
Like, is it in a positive, like you like it, or is it a mix of people? Like, what kind of reactions do you get?
It's still weird, man. Like it's still weird. Like when I see fighters and they know me and I don't realize that they know me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, damn, all right. And they're like, oh, BF. And I'm like, cool boy. What's
Oh,
up?
he recognized you?
Yeah. It's not just him, it's several others. But
Who else? Who else? If you don't mind telling me, I'm curious.
Danny recognized me.
Garcia?
Yeah. Danny recognized me. Cool boy recognized me. Jarrett Anderson recognized me.
Oh.
Yeah, Jarrett recognized me. Of course, Devin knows me. Like I know Devin personally.
Okay.
Yeah, like after the Lomachenko fight, I was at his house.
Oh.
I was chilling I was just at his house. Like I went to the after party. Like they drove me over there in the Maybach.
So what? Not to get off our topic for the day, but what did he say directly after that fight? That controversial fight.
I didn't see, like I was in the back with him. Like I know Abdullah Mason, all those guys, they know me too. But I was in the back with them before he went out to the fight. And then I didn't see him until after the fight, like, and when they picked me up to take me back to his house, you know what I'm saying, for the after party, I didn't see him until then. So
Okay.
yeah, like what I told him, because he wasn't bruised or nothing, man. He had like a little swell right here on his eye. That was it. Nothing. Y'all know Loma went to the hospital, right? They thought he had broken ribs.
No, I didn't know that. But Loma's face looked
like a pizza.
So what did Devin think? Because in a way that's better because it was a few hours later, gave him time to process. Like what was he saying about the fight?
Well, what I said to him is when I initially watched it live, right? I said you won that fight easy. Like, to me, like, people will say, when they say the term easy, they'll say, oh no, it wasn't easy. I don't mean like the fight was easy, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying was the judging for me was easy when I watched it live, right? When I rewatched it again, it was even wider than what it was for me when I originally watched it, because it's like
Mm,
a lot of punches. They look great, but they weren't landing for Loma. Like, he was throwing a lot. He was throwing some really good stuff, but he really wasn't landing. And he was like, he didn't, like, they told me before the fight what the game plan was going to be, right? And they told me, like, what Loma's used to, people um trying to box with him. That's what he's used to. He's not used to someone trying to bully him. And
right,
everyone looks at Devin as pillow fisted, or just a behind a jab and stuff like that. And they told me, Devin, they was like, bro, we're not trying to box him. I'm trying to beat him
right,
up.
right,
I'm trying to do something that people don't do. So if he's going to get me, if he's going to stop me or anything else, he's going to have to stop me, because I'm going in there to beat him up. That's what they told me.
right.
So I'm like, I personally didn't like the plan, because that's Lomachenko. But it was like, all right, well, hey, do what you do, man. And that's exactly from round one. He went right at him from round one. No following the jab, no nothing. I'm just going.
Right. He was going at him. He was doing good body work. Uh,
Like,
what was his opinion on the fight right after? Was he like, "Oh,
bro,
I want that easy"? What
yeah,
what
told me. That's what he said. Like, because when we was talking about it, he was like, bro, I felt I won that fight easy. Like, I felt I won it. And I was like, and I said the same thing, like, easy. I wouldn't say it's easy. He's like, nah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he said the same thing that I said to you. It's like, yeah, you like the judging, man. Like, I felt like I won the round. I did what I needed to do to win. And I was like,
right,
I agree. Definitely
right,
agree.
right. I watched it twice. First time I watched it, I had Devin winning. Close. Second time, it looked like Loma got the edge. What one thing I don't like about that fight was how people were talking robbery, 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 and it was a close fight.
Right.
It's not a robbery when it's a close fight.
Well, it's a robbery when it's a close fight and the guy won that you didn't want to win. That
Well, yeah,
Yeah. So if the guy that won in a close fight um is the guy you wanted to win, it's not a robbery, and vice versa. So that's why everybody, and a lot of people have a lot of hate for Dev, so they'll run with this robbery nonsense over and over and over again. But these same people don't want Lomachenko to rematch Gary Russell, which is like odd to me. But
right.
or
Well, you know
Salido.
what? I'll give a big shout to Life Winner. Thank you. I will give Devin props though. He is taking at the hard fights. You know what I mean? Back
Yes,
back to back. And that division, I can't think of the last time that the lightweight slash junior welterweight division has been so stacked. So
facts.
many great fighters.
Yes, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know?
And a lot of nonsense in there, right? That's the problem. And I know we're going to get to the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence thing, but it piggybacks right off of it. When you have a lot of great fighters in a division, you get a lot of nonsense in that division because of the great fighters who believe they should get more, or they believe that they're bigger than what they are, or they believe that
Right.
whatever the case may be. So then you get all that nonsense, and that's why you don't get certain fights. So
Right.
when Devin fought Loma, it's like, bro, do you guys understand how much nonsense was in that? That was a voluntary for Devin. You know what I'm saying? Now, Nate, of course, they made it a little bit more, but it was a voluntary. Like, this is, he don't have to fight him, man. They keep pushing this thing. Oh well, Bob Arum, Bob Arum, Bob Arum, and I'm listening to what people say about this, and then I play video with Bob Arum saying Terrence Crawford could have fought Ugas, he could have fought Sean Porter, he could have fought Keith Thurman, he could have fought these guys, right? But Terrence Crawford had issues with that, whatever those issues were, whether he wanted to or not, right? That's a whole other conversation. But he didn't fight those guys. So
Right.
how in one breath tell me that Devin had to fight Lomachenko because that's what Bob Arum wanted, and then the next breath say, well, Terrence Crawford didn't have to fight those guys, even though Bob Arum wanted that too, right?
Right. Right.
Stuff, those conflicts let me know it's the fighters have to agree to it. If the fighters don't agree, it's not going to happen.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot more drama when you have a lot of talented fighters.
Yes,
But it's gonna make it. It's gonna be exciting, and I just hope that they all fight each other because I feel like ever since Mayweather and Pacquiao, there's become a bit of a of a precedent of big fights not be getting made, or at least not getting made when they should.
Right.
A side, B side bullshit, money, and you know. So let's hope that all these guys fight each other, because that'd be the worst for the fans, but also for the fighters, for their legacies, if they can't step in against all the other their peers who are at the highest level and show what they got.
Right. I mean, I agree with you, and then I disagree. Right. I agree with you that the fight should happen. I'm BF, the best fight, the best. That's me. That's what I want.
Right.
But where I disagree, and I disagree with everybody that has this concept, even Devin. Me and Devin don't agree on this either, because he thinks himself that sort of Floyd has some issues or met with messing up, big fights happening and stuff like that. But I also started watching boxing because of Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Right, that was my friend, and you need me. I need you to link us up, bro, because I know you know.
You saw my interview with him?
Yes, I saw all of them. You did a couple.
Yeah.
I need you to link us up, man. I just let them know,
I'll
man.
do it. I'll do it. Yeah.
That's the reason why I started watching boxing, man. But Thomas the Hitman Hearns and Ray Leonard, there was an A side, B side in there. There was an A side, B side in Ray Leonard versus Hagler. There was an A side, B side in Ray Leonard versus Duran. So the A side, B side was always there. We just emphasized it more with Floyd.
Right.
I don't want to put that jack in this, and this is where we disagree, right? There's always been an A side, B side. It's always been whoever was the bigger draw, the bigger name, you got the bigger split. It's always been that.
Right.
There's never been a time where it's not been that, right? But people put that jacket on Floyd. And then they also put the jacket on Floyd because, Floyd was and don't get it twisted. I'm no advocate for Floyd Mayweather, bro. Like Floyd, he says a lot of goofy stuff, but what he did in the ring was phenomenal. I'm no advocate for the man, but I'm also not going to put a jacket on him that he doesn't deserve, right?
Right.
Big fights not being made, that wasn't a Floyd Mayweather thing, right? There's several big fights that we can say that weren't made while Floyd Mayweather's fighting. I don't remember Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe fighting. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember.
Well, that was a case of, and I'm a New York guy, but that was a case of, it seemed like Bowe was in no hurry to do that.
You're right, but that had nothing to do with Floyd Mayweather. But we'll still say Floyd's the reason why big fights didn't happen.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and maybe you have a point, but yeah, that was the first time where it came in, and it seemed like a fight. To me, that fight, Pacquiao Mayweather, seemed more about egos. It seemed like either guy didn't want to give any concessions to the contract, because then they would give the appearance that they are saying that they're not the A side if they're going to take any concessions.
I agree, but that hasn't. Ray Leonard and the Hulk, they didn't fight.
Oh, well, that might have been because Leonard wanted no part of that.
That's true, and
but I wanted to fight him.
The Hawk saying he wanted more money.
Could have been, yeah. But
those just discrepancies for me on why.
I get it, and you have a point. I just hope the fights happen.
Me too.
And Spence and Crawford, which we'll get into, is happening, and it's happening for the most part at the perfect time, right?
No,
you don't think so?
No.
When would be the perfect time, in your opinion?
The perfect time for the fight to happen would have been when Terrence Crawford got to 147. That would have been perfect. What? Right away. And let me explain to you the reason why. Terrence Crawford was at the height of his whatever y'all want to call it, right? Errol Spence was at the height of his whatever y'all want to call it. There was no injury. There was no car wrecks. There was none of that. No one was talking about trying to disrespect the man for being an adult that can drink, but they disrespect him now for being an adult that can drink. You know what I'm saying? They make such a big deal out of it, but whatever. But he don't even do that. He's not even on it like that no more. But still, there was no concerns with Terrence Crawford, him only wanting to fight Errol Spence for money, because that's all it is, regardless of what anybody thinks. He's already proved that. So it's like we didn't have those things. We had two killers, and someone had to go. That was the perfect time right there.
Okay.
We have these 5 years, and that's what it's been. It's been 5 years, the same length of time Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, the same length of time.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: do you think that those 5 years affected the fighter and aged out any of the fighters, and will affect the performance of either fighter in the fight because they're a little older, a little more worn?
Well, if you again, we're comparing this to Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. When Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fought, they were around the exact same age as Manny.
Oh no,
As,
at this point, I'm not comparing to. I'm just asking you in general.
right.
Do you think that those 5 years are going to make a difference in this fight?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think those 5 years gave me clarity, because back then I was, in my mind, back then, I believed it was 50-50, but I favored Crawford.
You did. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I favored Crawford back then. But again, killers, right? This was two killers. You had this switch hitter with the skills. We've seen him have to box in the back foot. We've seen him have to get on the front foot. We've seen him have to use left and right lateral. We see him have to dog it out. We seen him have to do that. We didn't see that with Errol Spence back then. We just knew Errol was a seek and destroy killer back then. That's it. Terrence Crawford showed us everything. So back you had two killers, a seek and destroy killer, and you had another killer who showed you everything, which is why I favored him, right? But as long as time passed, it switched over. Now Terrence Crawford does the exact same thing over and over and over again. And Errol Spence is the one that showed with Mikey that I can box it with you, with Sean that I can dog it out, right? With Ugas that I can stand there and we can do. He showed me different, which is why.
So for the record,
yes,
who do you have winning and in what fashion?
I have Errol Spence by absolute one-sided destruction.
Are we talking a stoppage?
We're talking one-sided stoppage, destruction, one-sided.
How long do you think it's going to go? How long?
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
And pushing it.
Okay. And what, the cliff notes, obviously, because it's in it. What makes you think this?
So, Terrence Crawford, again, which led me to the original question you asked me about is it a better fight now, right? Back then, it was the unknown, right? It was the unknown, and we had to guess, we had to figure out what it is. From this point now, I've seen what he does at 147. I've seen exactly what he does. The exact same thing. He is a sucker for straight rights. He gets hit with the same punch over and over again. Every fighter that he's fought at 147 has hit this man with the exact same punch. Every one. He got dropped with an overhand from Victor Postal. And in his mind, he feels like he didn't get dropped. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah, you did. You did. You get Kell Brook was hitting him with the same punch, the same straight, over and over again, the same one. I'm saying Sean Porter was hitting him with the same looping hook. David Ambrosia was hitting him with the same. Matter of fact, he caught him in early, clean, multiple times with the same hook. I'm sitting here like, bro, this is stuff that we didn't know. When he got to.
Right? So let me ask you this: what do you think? And I'm gonna flip it a little. What do you think are Terrence Crawford's strengths?
I think Terrence Crawford's strengths, and this is such a bad thing for me, right? Because his strengths are things he doesn't use. He don't use his movement no more. That's not what he likes to stand in the pocket and dog it out with you. He don't use the superior footwork that he has, right? He don't use his superior left and right lateral movement. He don't use that working on the back foot and keeping you at his range where his power is significant, right? He don't use that no more. He just dogs it out with you. And when they ask him after the interview, every single time his fights, why did you fight this way? He says, because I wanted to. Bro, that's going to get you destroyed fighting. Bro, that's going to get you, you're going to get knocked out.
Okay. So one thing that surprised me a little bit, maybe not a lot of people, but I was surprised at the apparent size advantage for Spence.
He's way big.
I thought they were about the same, and then you have people saying, well, he was wearing, heels at the press conference. And have you been around them in person, either of them?
Yeah, I've been around Errol. I've been around Errol. And it's crazy because, like I said, I was picking Terrence Crawford to win. And I used to go with Errol Spence a lot. And his family watches me all the time. Matter of fact, Crawford's family watches me too. And Crawford watches me. So Yeah, I've been around Errol. Errol's not a big guy.
How tall is Errol, would you say?
Errol, I mean, I don't believe the BoxRec, man. BoxRec is saying a lot of stuff. I am 6'2", 6'3", right?
Ooh.
Is probably to me like I look down on EJ, I say EJ's about realistically 5'6".
What?
5'7", 5'6".
So then Crawford must be 5'5"?
Bro, this is why we look. This is I stood with him next to him, and they say all these things, man. Crawford 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", Crawford 5'10", bro. Errol 5'10", bro. Them niggas is not that big. Pardon me. Them guys, those guys are not that big, bro. They're not that big, man. Those
Okay.
are, bro. They're little guys. They're little guys, man. And it could just be because I'm 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". It could just be because of that. But I'm looking down on these guys like, bro, man, you ain't no damn 5'10", bro. Because if you're 5'10", I wouldn't like. I'd be looking pretty much like right here. Like I wouldn't be looking down like that, bro.
Right.
You're not 5'10", 5'11". You ain't none of that. But Errol's taller than him.
Okay,
and he's bigger than him too.
So right. So the lead up question now, size in boxing matters only if you know how to use it.
Correct.
People don't realize that.
Yes.
Spence uses it.
Yes.
So my follow-up question, which I kind of already answered it myself, but do you think that the size advantage will matter for Spence?
Absolutely. 100%. Because you as a boxer, you know what I'm saying, as a former boxer, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm about to say is accurate. A good big man will beat a good little man just about every single time. If our skills are on par, right? If our skills are on par, and I'm just bigger than you, Usyk will beat Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford every single time. There won't be one time where Usyk will lose to either one of those guys.
Right.
Unless they're the exact same size and same weight, then we can have a conversation. But right now, Alexander Usyk at 230, 240 will beat Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, both of them, very, very easily right now.
Yeah.
Because he's skilled, they're skilled, but he's bigger.
Right.
So I could take your punches because of the weight that I have on me, but you can't take mine because of the weight you don't have.
That's true. And the size matters. Reaching somebody, having them keep their distance, their range, all that matters.
Yes.
Spence is a pressure fighter.
Yes.
Well, let me rephrase. One of his faces is a pressure fighter.
Yes.
He has a bunch of different styles that he uses. I spoke to Derek James a whole shitload of times.
Yeah.
And he pointed that out because a lot of people think of Spence as just a pressure fighter.
Correct.
But that's not all he is.
Facts.
His boxing is underrated. Now I have heard stories about Terrence Crawford from his wrestling background and just being freakishly strong for his size. Have you heard those rumors?
I've heard those. I also know that he got stopped in sparring. I also know Brian Norman.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I know. He's a 147 pounder. These are just rumors that I heard. I'll say allegedly because I know some of these people, right? And I don't want to put no jackets on them. I'll say these are things that I've heard that this man was stopped in sparring. He got caught and they stopped it because
when was this?
This was some months ago. This was like maybe last year or something like that. Beginning of last year time frame. Yeah, this was a while ago, but he got stopped. That's what I heard. I'll put it that way. That's what I heard. So yes, I heard freakish power. I heard about he's abnormally strong because he generates a lot of power from the waist down, which a lot of wrestlers do. So I have heard that. But like I said, I also have heard that he got stopped in sparring. He got not. They paused the sparring. No, he got stopped in sparring. He got hit with headgear in 16s and got stopped. But that's a whole different conversation. But we're talking about what we heard, right? So what we heard, I heard this.
Right. I mean, Bomac has told me directly a bunch of things, but
Mhm.
obviously
Yeah,
that's his
well,
fighter.
things too.
What's
Like,
that?
yeah, Bomac told me some things too. Like
Yeah.
the reason why he didn't fight Errol Spence when he first came to the 147, because they wanted to go to the easy route, which was the WBO route for them. Yeah, he
Yeah.
told me.
Well, Spence said that to him too. Remember in that interaction they had with each other years ago? He's like, no, why not take the easy route first?
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Terrence Crawford had already went the WBO route already. He did not have to. That's the problem, right? People, they don't got the timeline correct. If you have the timeline correct, then you'll know Terrence Crawford didn't have no belt. He was just the undisputed champion, and he could have went any route he wanted to go, right? Instead of going the IBF route, which I say would have been the best time to do it at that time, he went the WBO route,
Right, right,
which was, to me, was dumb. That
right.
was, you could have went the WBC route, the IBF route, the WBA. You could have went any one of those, and had you went those and beat a Danny Garcia, which is who you would have fought for the WBC, or had you beat an Errol Spence, which is who you would have been fought for the IBF, right? One of those two routes. Then you could have went back and unified with Jeff Horn, who was a top-ranked fighter.
Right.
That's
right.
why I say it's stupid for him to do the route.
Well, maybe you have a point, but I guess we're here now. That's all in the past. They're fighting. What do you think? Yeah, right.
That
Right.
cliche. We're here now. Like, yeah, we're here now, but look what we went through to get to here now.
So do you still hold annoyance, resentment at what we went through to get to this fight?
Yes, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't any? The thing to me is, and this is how I look at it, right? Here's my stance. I'm a boxing diehard, right? It's boxing over anything. And all I want is the best fights within boxing, right? So if that's what I want, and it was a hindrance, it was an annoyance, it was a problem for me that people were going different routes. And like I said, that's why I went at Errol Spence for so long, because I believe that, bro, you said it's strap season, but here you are saying I'm going to clean up my side of the street and then get that belt, right? I had a problem with that. I had a problem because the people that were on your side, they were good, but were they the best, right? I'm BF. I'm best fight the best. I had a problem with that. So if I had a problem with that, then why wouldn't I have a problem with someone telling me, and this is no shade on you, but I'm just saying because you're not the only person that said this, now is the best time for the fight. No, it is not. No, it's not.
I actually didn't say that. I don't.
Ask you that.
Yeah, I asked you. Yeah.
Right. But my thing is this though, champ. For people that have that thought process that now is the best time for the fight, there are boxing diehards who are no longer with us that missed it. They're no longer here, champ. Like, they're gone. Like, they have passed away. They have been diehards from before I was born and so on and so forth. So they're no longer here. So saying now is the best time for the fight, that's factually false. It's
yeah. I agree. I'm just happy that it seems like it's not going to take too much away from the fight itself, at least. Whereas Mayweather and Pacquiao, we had a whole different ballgame when they fought later. You know what I mean?
Did we, though?
No. Well, you know what? I think Floyd would have beat him even easier. But
the
first time.
Yes,
but the fact that Manny got knocked out in between then really took away from the hype and the excitement of the fight, I think.
I can understand that, but did it? It's still the highest grossing fight in boxing history, so did it really take a part away from it?
It did for boxing diehards, right?
But I see you, I hear you. But then I can caveat that, because back to what we were talking about earlier. If Manny Pacquiao getting knocked out took some away from it, right? Then didn't Errol Spence's car crash and retina injury?
Different, because when a fighter when they go from being almost looked at as invincible to not being invincible from fighting, that's one thing. When something happens outside of the ring, it's not looked at the same. I get what you're saying. It definitely put miles on Errol, but it's not looked at like another man did it in the ring. It's looked at like, well, life did it.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. but it doesn't take away from the physical damage, right? It don't take away. This man went through a windshield and flipped how many
Yeah,
times? Should have
yeah.
stuff like that and all these other type of things. So yes, I understand your point. I get it, and I'm with you. I agree with that stance, but it
What?
doesn't take away from the mileage.
Right. No, for sure. There's definitely mileage. And what do you think the odds are that we get, and this is my biggest fear, is that we get a technically almost boring fight of two guys just because that happens sometimes. There'll be
That
super fights, we're excited, and they just stand there and play boring chess.
I here's my thing with that one, right? Being that, I've talked to Derek James, not nowhere near as much as you have, because you actually know Derek James, right? When I talked to Derek, he gave me something. He gave me a gem that I wasn't really thinking, and I had to go back and watch Errol Spence's fights again to actually see what he was talking about. And anybody that watches Errol Spence's fights, right? Errol Spence puts you where he wants you. Like, you don't put Errol where you want Errol. That's why when Sean Porter did it a couple times, right? Sean Porter, they was banging with each other, and then Sean Porter hooked Errol and spun him. It was like an anomaly. Like, we're so used to seeing Errol put everybody where Errol wants them, that when Sean did it those two times, it was like, wow, right? That's people say, oh man, Sean could have won that fight and blah blah blah. But Derek said Errol Spence controls distance, and what people don't realize is because he's so basic, right? He's so basic with it. He's so fundamentally sound that he boringly controls distance. I'm boringly keeping you right there. So this is to your point, what you said. If we get a boring fight, right? The only way we get a boring fight is if Terrence Crawford if Terrence Crawford is not Terrence Crawford.
Right.
If he is someone that's not what he says, right? He says that these guys ain't what they are. I'm going to show them who's the dog. He says that I'm going to stand right there with Earl and dog it out, and I'm going to show y'all that I'm better. Like, he says these things. If he isn't what he says, I can see this being like a Mikey Garcia Errol Spence fight.
Right. What makes this fight, in my opinion, so amazing and such a mouth-watering bite for boxing fans are three things. One, you got two undefeated guys. Two, undisputed, right? First four-belt undisputed welterweight champion in history. And three, either guy could put the other guy to sleep, or at least their opponents, at any moment. So we don't just have two technical boxers. Like, you remember Floyd versus Pacquiao ended up being kind of that. Like, okay, Floyd was just, Money Mayweather was a lot safer fighter as opposed to Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was knocking people out, was crazy.
Trying to hurt you.
But this fight, we expect fireworks. People say Hagler Hearns. Now, the only reason why I don't think it's going to be Hagler Hearns per se is because, and I've talked to Tommy, as you know.
Yeah.
Tommy abandoned all game plans once Hagler got in his chest and just started winging.
Yes.
I don't see Spencer Crawford doing that. Do you?
Yes.
You do. You see them just going all out. Fuck it.
I see. This is the thing, though. If Terrence Crawford, I know what Errol's going to do. I know what he's going to do. It's Terrence Crawford is the unknown, right? Because he can do everything. Everything. He's the unknown. What are you going to do? I know what EJ's going to do. EJ's going in there to seek and destroy. If he's got to box him to get to him to destroy him, he's going to do that. If he's got to just go in to body him, he's going to do that. What is Bud going to do? Is Bud going to try to keep Errol at distance? I'm not going to let you close the distance. I'm going to keep you at distance, right? Because you control distance, so I'm going to control distance, right? Is Bud going to do that? Is Bud going to say, oh, I'm better than you? So if you coming at me, I'm going at you because I'm better. And we're going to bang it out. If he does that, which is what he said he's going to do, that's Hagler Hearns. That is Hagler Hearns. That is what he did when he was fighting Kavalaskis. When he was fighting Kavalaskis, right? He stood there, and for what reason, Marco? What reason? He's way better than Kavalaskis. Way better. What reason did this man have to stand there and just slug it out with that man who he could have tortured if he boxed him. He could have tortured him. Still got the stoppage, but he stood there and just banged it out with him. If he does that with Errol, he's going to get obliterated. But that's what he said he's going to do. So if we're holding to his word, then that's why I see Hagler Hearns. That's why I see that.
I would love that. Don't get me wrong. I would be very surprised, though. I think both fighters are way too technically sound to abandon, to lose their cool in that manner. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Spence's body attack,
yes,
is going to play what role in this fight?
Astonishingly for me, I've gone over this, and today I'm going to talk about it too, because today I'm going to give my third reason why I pick Errol Spence. I've already gave my first and second, but today I'm giving my third when I do my live stream. But astonishingly for me, you haven't heard me, like if you've watched my lives, or if anybody watched my lives, anybody, when I shared this, anybody's in the comments that watched my live, you really haven't heard me speak about it, because I honestly don't think it's going to have such a huge thing to it. I don't. And what made me think this is my conversation with Devin, right? My conversation with Devin and Bill is like, bro, that's what everybody expected Devin to do. They expected Devin to go in there and follow his jab behind Lomachenko. That, okay, well, everybody looks at Errol Spence's his dominant body attack. He's known for. He's a savage with it. Mm-hmm. What if he doesn't use it? What if he goes in there and I don't think Bomac is stupid, right? I don't think he's stupid. I think Bomac is smart enough to realize that Errol Spence's body attack is a savage thing. So if you don't prepare Terence Crawford for that, you're a fool. You are stupid if you don't. But I don't believe Bomac is dumb. I believe he says things that he knows are cap, right? But I don't believe he's stupid. So he's going to be preparing Terence Crawford for that body attack. Well, if you're prepared for something that they don't use, then you're over preparing, right? And I'm not. Let me correct myself. I don't want to say over preparing, because you can't over prepare for a fighter, right? But in that sentence, and you would notice as a fighter, you can and you can't, right? If you don't prepare for something, then people will say, why didn't you prepare for this when you knew it was going to happen, right? But then if you do prepare for it and it doesn't happen, now you're waiting for something and you're overthinking something that never happens, right? So you as a fighter know what I'm talking about. You know, you can over prepare, but then it's like yes and a no question, right? So I truly believe that Errol, looking at Terence Crawford being a sucker for straight rights, looking at Terence Crawford getting caught with hooks by David Evanesian over and over again, getting caught with straights by Kell Brook over and over again, the same hook, the same punch that Kavalaskis Gamboa hit him with and wobbled him. The same punch.
Right. You know, I will say one thing about fighters, which people don't realize. Some fighters take shots a little more when they know that the shot coming at them is no danger.
Right.
So I don't know how much of that is what Crawford does, where he felt a couple. He's like, fuck it, I'll take a couple to get this guy out. I don't know. I don't think he's going to want to take Spence's shots. I'll tell you that. Like, he'll feel those and be like, all right, I'm not going to give one to take one.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree, but it's one of those things where fighters, and you as a fighter know this, right? In order to know if somebody can punch, they got to hit you. Right? They hit you, and you're like, oh, whoa, he can punch. I don't want those no more, right? Or they hit you, and you're like, that's it? Oh, I'm going at him. Yeah. Right? You as a fighter, you know this. Yep. So my thing is, when Gamboa caught Terence Crawford, right? When Gamboa wobbled him, Gamboa is not a finisher. When Kavalaskis caught Terence Crawford, Kavalaskis is not a finisher. Because if you remember, he caught Virgil Ortiz too, sat Virgil Ortiz down. He didn't go for they're not finishers. Errol is a finisher.
Yeah, Errol's a finisher, and there was some rumors going on about, or not rumors, people saying that he doesn't have a chin because of the two occasions where it turns out now we realize that he thought his teeth fell out of his mouth,
Correct.
and he was, and then now people say, well, will he make that mistake again? Could that happen against Bud? Because if it does, it'll be real bad.
If Errol Spence is stupid enough to do that with Terrence Crawford, he's going to get knocked unconscious. All right, I'm an Errol fan. I believe Errol destroys him. I believe he obliterates him, but I'm not a liar. All right. If Errol Spence does that with Terrence Crawford, he is going to get obliterated. Like that. I don't give a damn what round it is. If Errol does that in the second round, he's getting knocked out in the second round.
Yeah.
This is guy around the bush with nothing. You cannot do it with Terrence Crawford, bro. No. I really don't like his moves, but that man's a dog, bro. You do that with him, he's gonna stop you.
I don't think Spence will do that again. I think, that's unlikely. But it was interesting because he never talked about it, and then just recently in an interview, he kind of opened up like, "Oh, it was an insecurity of mine, my teeth," and it made sense because I'm like, why is this seasoned professional making such rookie weird? I didn't get it, but because that accident was traumatic. So the whole teeth thing, it all probably brings him back to that moment, and he kind of, he's human.
And he even said it like that. Well, I didn't even notice until he said it. He had just got his teeth put back in. He wasn't even supposed to take that fight. Like his teeth was just put in, man. He had what I forget the term for it, but he had teeth. His teeth were not his teeth at that time. They weren't his, right? Those were like fixtures or whatever they call them, like dentures, right? And they had a custom mouthpiece to fit the teeth that didn't belong to him. Like he had gaps in his mouth. He fought that. So when he got clipped and he thought his teeth was out, it's like, it makes sense to me now. I didn't know it then. And the crazy part about him not talking about it, and I'm glad he didn't, because it would have looked like an excuse, right? So he didn't say anything about it until now. Like that was a recent interview. So it's like, I don't think he'll do that, but the fact don't change. If he does, knocked out.
Right. No, and it made people think that when Ugas clipped him, because if you remember, Ugas clipped him one shot, kind of, and then he clipped him the second shot, and it made people think, oh, he was hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but that was the only explanation at the time. It's like, why are you reacting that way?
Right. Yeah. And I just like the fact he didn't say nothing about it. That's what I like. I like that he said nothing, which made it, all right, well, you could just run with that. Ugas could punch, and Ugas caught him, and right, you could do that. So I like that he didn't.
I do too, man. So you think it's going to be a stoppage?
I do. I think it's one-sided too.
One-sided.
Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao repeat. Dead ass serious. A one-sided fight. Only difference is it's going to be a stoppage, just because of all the buildup. Like I truly believe the buildup for Terrence Crawford was a buildup for publicity, right? And he even said it himself that the fight happening now is the best time, right? But that goes against everything that he said to the buildup. So for him, it was a buildup for me. It's like, okay, you said you wanted to fight back then. You said the man was ducking. This guy's scared of you. This guy don't want to fight you. You've been saying all this now, and then you say right now it's the best time to fight. Well, how are those two things the same thing?
Right.
If now's the best time to fight, then he never ducked you. Then it was never a duck. It was just timing.
Right. No, totally. The one thing I really like about this fight, the lead up to it, is the way that they're handling themselves in the press conferences and to each other.
Right.
I think you have a lot of these YouTube assholes coming in now, and a lot of people who think that you have to sell a fight by slapping somebody, pushing somebody, cursing at their mama, whatever.
Right.
These guys are like, in a way, it's like Mike Tyson when he used to walk to the ring and he would just do this.
Stoic.
And you knew, oh shit,
he
didn't have to go off, get in anybody's face. These guys have a lot of that, but I think they're setting a good example for their peers, for fighters coming up, that, let your skills, let your resume, let your performance, let that sell the fight, because these guys aren't doing any crazy antics. And this fight is one of the biggest fights in a long time.
Yeah, it might be the biggest of the year. And even there, I agree, and then I disagree, right? So everything you said, I agree with it 100%, right? I agree 100%. Here's my disagreement. It's not on what you said, because it sounds, that's an asinine statement to say that I agree 100%, but then I disagree, right? So here's my statement. here's where my disagreement is. It's yin and yang, right? So on the yin, I agree with you 1,000%. We're straight away 100%, right? But on the yang is where we're not at. The yang is this: if they don't need to, I'm not going to say slap each other around, nothing like that, but I'm going to say talk your shit, right? If they don't need to do that, then there is no reason for the press conference. The press conferences themselves are made to give you the Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis type of back and forth, right? They're made to give you that. That's the foreplay, for lack of a better term, right? That's the foreplay to the actual event, right? So that's what people say: who won the press conference, who lost the press conference. Those things are for that specific reason. Now, again, I want to be very clear. What you said, that statement, I agree with you, right?
You know,
Or
they talk their shit, right? But they did it, oh, we're Jamaican, we smoke bud. Oh, I'm gonna fillet them.
Yep.
They did it in a clever, funny, and classy way.
Yes.
But still got your juices flowing for this fight.
Right. So, and again, I'm with, and it makes it come off like it's just bashing of Terrence Crawford, right? That's what it makes it come off from my end. And I don't care at the same time, because I'm not really bashing him. I'm just stating the facts, bro.
Well, let's be clear. Do you dislike Terrence Crawford?
No.
Okay.
Don't. But people say I do. So instead of me saying, "Oh no, I don't dislike Terrence Crawford. No, I really like Terrence," I'm just like, bro, if that's what you think, then fuck it. Then fuck that motherfucker. Then, right? That's where I roll with it. I'm just not the guy that's going to sit here and have to defend myself all the time. Defend myself. No, I really like Terrence Crawford. No, it's just because Terrence Crawford does this move, blah, 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 blah. No, bro, if that's what you believe, then fine. Then let's run with it then. Let's run with it. Believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's me. It's always been me. Maybe it's a Jersey thing, I guess. I don't know. But my thing is this, though, bro. I felt like there had been one person in this conversation, in this fight, that has stood on their square. That is Errol Spence. He told everybody from the jump, I'm cleaning up my side, and then I'm getting you, or whoever got that belt, right? That's what he said. He's got slaughtered for it, man, even by me. Because I said, no, bro. No, these guys on your side don't want to fight you. This guy does. Fight him. That was my stance. Come to find out, it was all a facade. He didn't want to fight him right then. He wanted to fight him now. Money was the biggest, and it was for undisputed.
So would you have respected him more if back then he came out and said, I'm going to wait for blah, blah, blah. I don't want to fight you right now.
He didn't have to necessarily say that, right? There's you know how you can give analogies or stuff like that, where you can say the same thing, but not say something that's so harsh, because it would make him look like he was a duck if he was like,
that's what I was going to say. If he says that, then people shit all over him for ducking.
Yeah, but all he had to do was say, listen, bro, you guys think Errol Spence is the biggest guy up here. You think he's the tough guy. Well, when we fight, we're going to fight for all the marbles. So let's go ahead and collect all these belts, and then let's get it popping.
Right.
That statement right there is the exact same thing of what we would have said about, you go do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and then we'll be in the middle, right? That's it. But I'm not a duck. If you guys are saying that Errol's the man, I'm telling you I'm the man. I want undisputed. He wants undisputed. So fine, let's collect all these belts, right? Let's collect these belts, and then let's fight for undisputed, and let's see who the man is. He could have said that in 2017, and nobody would have faulted him. Nobody. We would have been like, the narrative, bro, the narrative would have been completely changed. It wouldn't even have been about who's ducking who. We would have been talking about who's ducking Errol and who's ducking Terrence, so we can get to this fight.
Right.
Because both of these guys are saying the same thing. They want undisputed. They want to fight each other for undisputed. So Danny Garcia, what's going on, man? Why won't you fight Errol Spencer? Why won't you fight Terrence Crawford? Sean Porter, what's going on? Keith Thurman, what's going on? We would have been looking at those guys so that we can get to this fight right here. We wouldn't have been looking at Errol and Terrence because they're saying the same thing.
Does the winner of this fight take that number one slot P for P?
Absolutely. They're not the face of boxing, but they are absolutely the number one pound for pound.
Let me ask you that then. I personally hate that fucking face of boxing term. I don't like it. What's your definition? What makes somebody the face of boxing?
If me and you start talking boxing right now, right, and we're start talking and something's coming up, and you bring up a name, what is the first? If we're still talking about boxing right now, well, shit, we've already been ingested into this conversation. But
Yeah.
if we weren't ingested, like if I just ran up on my brother Marco, I came to the restaurant, like, Marco, what's up, man? And we start topping it up. And then the first name that we start talking about in boxing, that's the face of boxing.
So, if I'm not mistaken, it's the popularity.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you look at Floyd Mayweather, right? When Floyd Mayweather was the face of boxing, it was whether you hated him or whether you loved him. Oh, he's not fighting nobody, right? He's not doing this. He's not fighting the guys and blah, 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 yada, yada. He only cares about money and he blah, 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 yada, yada, right? And it was always that. And then it was Pacquiao beats him.
So the face of boxing should be Canelo.
The
By
face
those standards, no?
face of boxing is Gervonta Tank Davis.
You think he's more popular than Canelo worldwide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. 100% more popular than Canelo Alvarez. Because I'm telling you this, bro. I'm a boxing diehard, and you know my page is very, very what's the word for it?
Diverse?
Not just diverse, but it's like contrasting, right? There's a lot of contrasting styles in there, right?
Right.
I will guarantee you, I will put money that more people will talk about Gervonta Tank Davis than Canelo Alvarez.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a poll on my page. I'm gonna see.
Don't ask who the face is.
No.
Faces, and that's what. Oh, it's Canelo. We're gonna run.
Who's the most popular? I'm gonna ask.
You can do that
because
popularity. You can do that.
The thing with this fight, and I've said this for a while. This is my opinion. This is a mega fight for boxing fans and purists.
Yes,
but this isn't a mega fight for the earth.
It is not.
No, you agree because mega fights come 1 in 1,000 or whatever. Ali Frazier, Tyson Holyfield 2 after the ear bite, Tyson Lennox Lewis, Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yes.
Mayweather De La Hoya was probably one, right?
Mayweather De La Hoya, yeah, but on the low end because Mayweather wasn't as big as De La Hoya.
Exactly, that made Mayweather big. That fight.
Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. So, and that's sad that this fight isn't a mega fight in terms of those standards.
Yes, because it's not a world. These guys are not world known fighters for whatever the world wants to know them for.
That's the only reason I like guys like Jake Paul coming in and at least bringing new eyeballs to the sport. That's the only thing I like about it.
I absolutely agree, man. I think Jake Paul is 100% great for the sport of boxing. It's phenomenal for the sport of boxing because people that's going to watch Jake Paul are going to watch boxing because Jake Paul's in it. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to watch boxing just because it's boxing. They're watching because Jake Paul's in it. And if you watch something because somebody's in there and then you end up liking it now. So what'll happen is you like the man now. You like it now because of just boxing now. Now it's no longer about Jake Paul. Now it's about boxing in general, right? Now we like it because of boxing.
Right.
So yeah, Mike Tyson was like that, bro. People weren't watching boxing for boxing when Mike Tyson was in. It was watching boxing because of Mike Tyson.
Then
they started watching boxing. They started to like boxing, and Mike Tyson just happened to have brought them there. So anybody that brings anybody to boxing, to me, is a plus to the sport of boxing. So I think Jake's a definite plus.
So let's kind of round into home plate here.
Yeah.
And I hate baseball. I don't even know why I use that analogy, but what do you? Oh, you disappeared.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, after this fight is done, do you think that Jaron Boots Ennis has a shot at beating the winner?
100%. No. If it is Errol Spence. All right.
Okay.
If Errol Spence beats Terrence Crawford, which is what I believe, Errol Spence is going to vacate all of his belts and go to 154. That's
now he doesn't fight Charlo though.
Errol Spence will fight Charlo.
You think so?
Absolutely. He's already
I always get confused. Is Derek James train that Charlo or the other one?
Yes.
Both of them.
Derek James don't want it, but Errol Spence does. Now Jermell Charlo has come out recently and said he'll fight Errol Spence recently, but that was just recently.
Didn't Ronnie Shields train one of them?
Ronnie Shield trained. I still think he trains Jamal.
Jamal is the 60-pounder.
Yeah.
I was confused the two.
Yeah, so I think Ronnie still trains him, but I know Jermell recently came out and said he'll fight Errol, but Errol said in 2017, bro, if Jermell don't fight me, then you're not my friend. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in the way of my dreams, bro. If you're either gonna fight me, we're both gonna get paid, or you're gonna move out of my way.
Okay. So
Errol will absolutely fight Jermell.
And you think Errol beats Jermell?
I think that is a difficult fight, but I think Errol has the advantage for the same reason that I'm going to speak about today in my live. So I'm not going to speak too much on it, but today I think Errol has the advantage over Jermell. But that's not an easy fight. Don't get it twisted. It's not an easy fight at all because Jermell can punch. But to answer your question previously, if Terrence Crawford wins, then Boots has a shot.
Do you think Boots is ready now at this level, or does he need a couple more fights?
Yes, I do. I 100% believe he's ready. Him winning is a different story, but him being ready, absolutely ready.
And
yo, I'm gonna say I don't believe in prospect, bro. I don't believe in that. I believe you're an amateur and you're a pro. That prospect, gatekeeper, champion, back to gatekeeper, back to has been, that's the status, right? You started a prospect, then you're a contender, then you're a champion, then you're a gatekeeper, then you're a has been washed up. I don't believe in nothing. You're a boxer.
So the last person that nobody really talks about, and given his record, I think 17-0, all by knockout, Virgil Ortiz. Do you think where does he fit?
I think Virgil Ortiz does good against a fighter like Terrence Crawford if Terrence Crawford fights him like he fought Kavaliauskas.
Okay.
I think he's an exciting fighter against an Errol Spence, but I think someone in that fight gets stopped. And I would favor Virgil getting stopped simply because Virgil's style. Hold on one second.
Got you. You know, guys watching, I think Boots is like if Crawford and Spence had a baby and it came out. That's Boots. He reminds me of both those guys. If you like the movie Twins, you took all the great genetic DNA from each one, put it in a test tube, and just the great genetic DNA came out. That's Boots. Now, he's still unproven.
Yes.
But that's where I see him going.
I think the issue for me, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I looked at Terrence Crawford as not wanting to fight these guys. I looked at him as an opportunist. But when it comes to Jaron Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford tried to make that fight.
He did.
Tried to make that fight, man. Like I'm not gonna if I sit here and just down this man in every way, then I'm a hater. I'm a Terrence Crawford hater. But he tried to make that fight, and I know he did. I know he tried to make it. Right? He tried to make that before when Boots was looked at as, man, I don't think Errol can beat Boots. I don't think Terrence can beat Boots. Terrence Crawford tried to make that fight then.
Right.
Fact. He tried to make it then. So do I think he can beat Boots? Of course I think he can beat Boots. Do I think Boots can beat him? Of course. It depends on who's going to show up in that fight. I would favor Boots more because Boots is more naturally talented. Not to say that Crawford's not talented, so don't take it out of context. But what I mean by that is they look at Terrence Crawford as a switch hitter, right? He switch hits so nice and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. Terrence Crawford switch hits when he's getting beat on. If he's getting beat on this way, he switches that way. Jaron Boots Ennis switches because he just switched. It's a natural thing. He just switched because he switched, right? It wasn't like, okay, let me try this out. No, I'm fighting, and I'm my lead left. I'm doing my lead left. Now let's try my lead right.
Right.
Natural thing for him to switch, and that's why I would favor him over Bud, for no other reason.
Okay.
It's just natural with his skill set.
Man, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I know you said you had to go. I got to kind of get out of here too. But look, man, I appreciate you talking to me, and let's do it again.
Always, man. You know you my brother, bro. You know I didn't get a chance to link up with you when I was out there in Newey, but the next time I go, bro, I'm coming to the restaurant.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I'm always ready, man. I really don't like doing this for people I really don't rock with, because I feel like they abuse situation. But you know you my family, bro. You know you my brother. So, and
Straight up.
I'm the Hitman Hearns one, bro. You got to get me in there.
Remind me, hit me up, text me, and I'll hook it up.
Okay, bet, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm always
Yeah,
available, man, and I appreciate the time.
yeah, we'll do it again soon. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, bro. Peace.
Peace.